Officer Chauvin will be acquitted. The prosecution has completed presenting its evidence. And here's the top of an article from Red State. Quote, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin's replacement of his knee across the neck and upper back of George Floyd played no role in the death of Mr. Floyd. That should be the top line takeaway from the first 2 weeks of the murder trial of Chauvin, and as that fact was testified to by the top medical expert called by the prosecution, Dr. Martin Tobin, close quote. Is anyone surprised? Frankly, I'm not. I was outraged when I saw the video of Mr. Floyd's treatment by law enforcement, like millions of other Americans. But as is always the case, waiting for the facts to come out with these types of incidents is critically important. Once I saw those facts about the incident, the 10 minutes of resisting arrest, the fentanyl and meth, the angles of the videos, the department training and policies on this type of use of force, I knew that these officers would not be convicted. I know I'm going out on a limb predicting acquittal before the defense even presents this case, but based on the prosecution's own evidence presentation, none of the charges elements have been met without extreme levels of reasonable doubt remaining. The defense attorneys have done a solid job of getting the facts from the prosecution's paid expert witnesses on cross-examination, getting them to admit the facts even when they had used the exact words the prosecution needed on direct. More from Red State, quote, to convict Chauvin of second-degree murder, the jury will be instructed that they must find that Chauvin intended to kill Floyd and that he acted with the purpose of causing death and believed the act would cause that result, close quote. There is simply no evidence presented anywhere in the prosecution's case that would support a finding like this. And I won't be surprised if the judge dismissed this count when the prosecution rests its case. To convict Chauvin of third-degree murder, the jury will be instructed that they must find that Chauvin's intentional act was imminently dangerous to human beings and was performed without regard for human life. Again, the knee on the neck is no longer an issue based on Dr. Tobin's testimony. It was the other three factors that led to Floyd's inability to breathe, being handcuffed in a prone position, with Chauvin using body weight to keep him from moving. How will the prosecution argue to the jury that it was imminently dangerous and without regard for human life when those three tactics are taught to officers as part of their training? Was there a bad outcome in this particular episode? No question about it. But an atypical bad outcome in this episode is not evidence that the actions of Chauvin were imminently dangerous or done without regard for human life. I would not be surprised if the judge dismissed this count as well, based on the evidence, Red State continues to say, unquote. That leaves only the manslaughter charge to get a conviction on. A shipwrecked crew at Red State, the author of this article, highlights, quote, this is where the use of force experts called before the medical experts have greatly undermined the prosecution, close quote. The cross-examination of those experts by Chauvin's defense attorney got admissions from each one of them that there were specific circumstances present during the process of Floyd's arrest and detention that altered the conclusion about what a reasonable officer would be expected to do in Chauvin's position. In other words, the facts do matter, and the jury is hearing all of them. But you would not know this if you only listened to the media coverage of the direct examination. If you want the actual facts, there are several places to go. Of course, shipwreck crew at Red State, one of his sources, attorney Andrew Branca, he's on Twitter under @LawSelfDefense and is posting daily blogs about the testimony at Legal Insurrection, are the two that I use the most. I want to emphasize, I'm not promoting these sources as They don't know me, nor do I have any business relationship with any of them, but they are really solid on this particular case. Let's hope justice is done, because Mr. Chauvin has been deprived of what each of us are supposed to have, and that is due process, my friends.